I have to confess something. I used to heavily use Tumblr, and I kind of miss those days. It made it really easy to find big anime tits. It has been many years since Tumblr was even remotely relevant, but the current owner Automatic and their CEO Matt Mullenweg has decided to try and change that. Over on Twitter, somebody said this: the next time somebody says, you can just run your own instance, I am going to spit in their freaking face. I've been trying to install Mastodon on a server for 7 hours. And Matt responds by saying, come to Tumblr. We'll add ActivityPub for interconnect, don't stress. Is Tumblr committed to adding ActivityPub support? Might be time to give the site another go. Yeah, really, oh please, Photo Matt, has this been officially announced? We are mostly dealing with the waves of new users right now and keeping everything scaling, but Interop and ActivityPub are ASAP. Now, for anyone paying even a tiny bit of attention, it's really obvious why he's talking about doing this now. There is a lot of people really unsure about the state of Twitter, how it's going to go into the future, whether it's going to be around in 6 months or a year, and whether those concerns are founded or not isn't really the important thing. The important thing is a lot of people are trying out other platforms. They try out Hive, they realize there's a lot of fake accounts and nobody's using it. They try out Tumblr, they realize that nobody's using it. They try out Mastodon, and they realize they have no idea how to join it. This is a perfect opportunity to try and integrate ActivityPub. So ActivityPub, if you don't know, is basically this open standard for creating a social media platform. It supports updating messages, making messages, deleting things, following people, all of the things you would generally expect to be there from something that does social media. And it's not some new format that nobody uses. This has been around for many years at this point, and the most notable service is Mastodon. But it's not just an open standard, it's an open standard for intercommunication. So if you're on Mastodon, for example, you can communicate with people over on Pleroma, or PixelFed, or PeerTube, or Misskey, or all of these other Fediverse services. Now, besides this just being in their best interest, getting more people connected on Tumblr, giving Tumblr access to a lot more users, why do I think this is actually going to happen? Because you can say something on Twitter and then never actually do it. Well, let's talk about who Automatic actually is, because this is a company that you've probably never heard of, but you've absolutely heard of one of their major projects: WordPress.com. Now, WordPress.com is separate from the free and open source WordPress software that anybody can go and use, but WordPress.com is by far the biggest provider of this software and makes it very easy for anybody to go and set up a blog and start using it pretty much in a couple of minutes. Now, because they are this major provider of WordPress, they are also one of the major developers on that free and open source project, putting a lot of money into it and a lot of hours into turning it into really good software. And besides WordPress, they do have a bunch of random other projects. Some of them they made in-house, and some of them they bought from other developers. But some of those projects they bought from other developers, they did the opposite of what everybody else does, where you buy an open source project and make it proprietary. They bought a proprietary project and then made it open source. And Matt especially has always been really active and really excited about the open source space. But I think even more importantly is that point that it is beneficial to them. So Automatic are not the first owners of Tumblr after the fall. They actually bought the platform from Verizon. Now, Verizon famously bought the platform for $1.1 billion, and then shortly after, basically killed it. They got rid of porn, everybody left the platform, and you know the story of Tumblr. And then when Automatic bought it, do you want to know how much they paid? $3 million. Not $3 billion. Million. And even way before the acquisition of Twitter back in July, Matt said that he has really big plans for Tumblr. He says that Tumblr can be a better Twitter than Twitter ever was. I don't know whether you'd want something to be a better Twitter, but sure, let's just assume that's a good goal to have. And right now is the perfect opportunity. There is a lot of eyes on the Fediverse, or more specifically, on Mastodon, which while it did gain hundreds of thousands of users and a lot of instances really started to struggle, Tumblr would help to solve basically the biggest issue that Mastodon and the rest of the Fediverse has. The fact that it's decentralized. Now, decentralization isn't inherently by itself a bad thing, but it's not inherently a good thing either. What I mean here is it can be really confusing to someone who has no idea how this model works. What I mean is, let's say you want to sign up for a platform like YouTube, Twitter, Tumblr, it doesn't really matter which one it's going to be. Let's just go with Tumblr. So we search Tumblr on Google, because we're a normie right now. Let's go to the Tumblr website, we click sign up, and then you just go through their sign up process and you're good to go. But what about over on Mastodon? Let's say that my favorite creator started using it, I have no idea what Federation is, I have no idea there are different servers, all I know is Mastodon is another social media platform. So I go to Google, I type in Mastodon, and the first thing that comes up is mastodon.social, so I guess that's what I need to go to. Okay, it's going to take a second to load, and create account. This seems pretty easy. Signing up on Mastodon. Mastodon is decentralized, so no matter where you create your account, you'll be able to follow and interact with anyone on this server. You can even self-host it. Well, I don't know what self-hosting is, and I'm not really sure what decentralized is either. So, on this server, creating an account on mastodon.social is currently not possible, but please keep in mind that you do not need an account specifically on mastodon.social to use Mastodon. Okay, so I can't make an account here. Let's click on this one, find another server. And, okay, what is all of this? I'm just gonna go back to Twitter. Now, obviously with Mastodon gaining an absolute ton of users, not every single person is doing that, but a lot of people are seeing this sign-up process and just having no idea what to do. And that's where Tumblr offers a very different solution, a centralized portal to a decentralized world. This solution is not for everyone. For the really techie people who normally watch this channel, you probably want to go and pick exactly which server you want to be on and find a server that fits exactly what you want to be using and use open source software. But if you don't care about that and you just have some friends on Mastodon, but you don't know how to join it, this alleviates that whole server confusion and finding a server you can actually join, because a lot of servers, at least listed on this website, you need to apply for an account for, and this is a very curated list. There are thousands of other servers out there. Now, while there is this concern, it's not impossible to work out. George Takei, who is 85 years old, worked it out. I don't understand why people think Mastodon is difficult. It seems pretty straightforward, and the separate servers are no biggie. I'm enjoying the fresh start here, like moving to a new apartment. But I'm not against having some sort of centralized portal for those people who want to have it. Now, a lot of the big social media platforms probably aren't going to embrace open standards like this. Facebook wants you to be on Facebook, Twitter wants you to be on Twitter, and YouTube wants you to be on YouTube, and all of this fun stuff. But I hope that when it comes to the smaller social media platforms, these platforms that have, a couple million users, they do actually start integrating ActivityPub, and this starts a trend amongst them. Because the only way you're going to be strong, and the only way you can compete with these big platforms, is if you stand together. And you may not like people on X platform or Y platform, but I think it's better for everyone if a lot of these platforms are connected together. Now, these benefits only happen if Tumblr doesn't screw around. I've seen some people saying that they're going to inject ads into the Fediverse. I don't know whether they're going to do that. I hope that any advertising they do, they keep it on the Tumblr platform, because there have been some ActivityPub platforms like Gab or like Pixiv when they set up Pawoo, where they get blacklisted by most of the Fediverse because they're doing things that most of the Fediverse doesn't exactly like. Now, you can say whether that's a good thing or not, and you can run an individual server that will go and connect to those things, But if they do get blacklisted by things like Mastodon.social and some of these other major instances, there's not much that can really be done there. But let me know your thoughts. Do you care about Tumblr taking up ActivityPub? Do you think it's good or bad for the Fediverse? I would love to know. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you like this video, remember to go and like the video. And if you really like the video and you want to become one of these amazing people over here, go check out my Patreon, subscribe, Pay, linked in the description down below. I've got a podcast called Tech Over Tea. I've got a gaming channel called Brodie Robertson Plays. That's going to be it for me, and I'm out.